So for more on the story, we now welcome Professor Arnon Afek, the Deputy Director General at the Sheba Medical Center and the former Director General at the Israeli Ministry of Health, and he joins us from Netanya. Thank you so much, Professor, for joining us on this day. And of course, today, millions of people are celebrating Independence Day, Yom Ha'atzmaut, without the restrictions and the measures that were in place a year ago, largely due to that successful vaccination rollout program. The country's frontline medical workers being praised at that ceremony, as we just saw. So talk us through the medical strides that have been taking place to get to this point in the fight against the pandemic.
Well, first, thank you very much for this interview. I do believe that whatever we did as part of the national effort to fight Corona was not just successful, but brought a true independence to the people of Israel, not just independence from the British mandate, but also independence from the Corona. So this year we are celebrating twice. Well, for the last year, our staff has been fighting the Corona. At the beginning, it was the restrictions. At the beginning, we had to save people's life all over the state of Israel, the hospitals, the healthcare funds. And lately, since December, we started the vaccination program. The first people to be vaccinated was Prime Minister Netanyahu and Minister of Health at Sheba Medical Center, and afterwards the rest of the people of Israel. And we reached more than 62% of the people of Israel being vaccinated. That's 5.3 million who received the first shot, taking into account that we have also around 830,000 people being post-corona. That means that a large number, more than 7 million people in Israel, are truly protected against corona. And that's the reason why the infection in Israel has been coming down. And I believe that it's a joint effort of everyone, the people of Israel, their solidarity together with the healthcare workers.
It certainly is a milestone of note to be celebrated. Of course, Professor, we know green passes are required for certain events. Rapid testing taking place at some venues. I saw it today. It really took a few minutes. Now, it seems that Israel is on top of this so-called return to life as we know it, but it is a global pandemic and many countries are still battling. Some haven't even started their vaccine rollout. So how can Israeli experts help? What lessons have been learned that can be shared with other countries right now?
Well, of course, since the beginning of the pandemic, we've been sharing information with the rest of the people over the world, not just in Europe or in the States, but also people in Brazil and many, many other countries. As you said correctly, they are still fighting the corona. Well, I think if there is one lesson to be learned from the people of Israel, is the need for rapid vaccination program. And I can tell you that although there are certain effects or undesirable effects to the different vaccines, still their benefits outnumber their contraindications. And therefore, if there is one message we like to share with everyone else, is go get vaccinated. It's much, much better and safer, as a generally speaking, than the risk effects or the side effects of the vaccines.
And of course, Professor, there are still concerns about mutations from abroad. Are you confident that authorities are doing enough to make sure that variants don't get into the country right now? Your thoughts?
Well, first, we are taking in the Ben Gurion airport and the rest of the border of Israel, people are being checked for being vaccinated, for their serological antibodies levels, as well as for corona. We can't be 100% safe as long as the epidemic continues in the entire world. That's why it should become a world effort to fight down corona. As long as there'll be corona, even in remote places in Africa or in Asia or South America, there'll be also a potential for new mutations. So it should become a global effort. But what Israel has shown the entire world, that a nationwide vaccination program is helpful, is something that I hope all countries will learn. And if all the world will fight together under the guidance of the WHO, will fight corona, then we, as I would say, as a world, will overcome it. But until then, we should be very careful also in the state of Israel.
Well, thank you so much for your insights on this day. Professor Arnon Afek speaking to us from Netanya. And of course, again, thank you to all frontline medical workers who have helped to save lives at enormous personal risk. Thank you so much for your time, and Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach to all the people who watch us. And let's hope that next year we'll even be able to celebrate even more the independence as well as the corona that will be over us, not just in Israel, but in many, many other countries as well.
We look forward to that interview. Thank you so much, Professor. Be well.